Hello and welcome to another part of Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition blank playthrough by Old Man Mamu. In the last episode we were doing Gaichu's quest in a Renraku warehouse when we wanted to make a revenge on not on our, but on his old squad from Red Samurai unit in Cholo Harbor. Today we are again back in the Heoi and we'll see how the story will unfold. So let's continue. Heoi, the sun's rays paint Hong Kong's mountains in a palette of orange and gold as they speed by outside the train. With a final flash, the sun dips below the horizon, foretelling the inevitable descent into night. Gaichi is silent as he walks back to the MTR station. He stares out the window, seeing nothing but the shadows of astral space, lost in thought. Wait, she does that? The ties between Gaichi and the Red Samurai have finally decisively been severed. Let's continue. Karma gain 8 and again objective which we still have to finish the optional quest, and the first thing to do is to claim our payment. Well, if nothing better has been added to the quest log, seems like not. So let's go to our Kraken. No nap. So let's go directly to the mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 1 unread messages. Check your inbox for new messages. You have 1 unread messages. Mail problem solved. From Bao Jianjun to Mamu. Subject problem solved. I see that you have solved the problem. Kindly, will be pleased. Strangle Bao. So that was the issue or solution of the stuff which or more like not which the maximum law, the Decker shopkeeper, was leaking a lot of information into the matrix, so I had to have some small talk with him. So let's go back and access the Shadowlands for post data. Attach data to a escrow account. Data will be automatically sold to the highest bidder. Both parties will remain anonymous throughout the transaction. So, posting the Renraku product launch schedule. Posting successful. Posting will remain active for 2 days. And search BBS for relevant keywords. Topics matching local keywords. Nothing, so looks like we have done everything with the terminal. So let's go to talk to Rakter and Gaichu. As always, first Gaichu. The dim cabin's air is thick with the pungency of incense. A small, rudely constructed altar sits near Gaichu's box of mementos. It consists of a wooden box, a few trinkets, and a bowl of burning incense. Gaichu himself is polishing his sword again. He runs a claw along the length of the blade, feeling and listening for nicks and dents. Good evening, Memu. Fine evening, isn't it? He puts the sword aside and smiles in your general direction. What can I do for you? I sort of assumed you want to talk about what happened with your team. Of course, I have thoughts about it, but why would I burden you or anyone else with them? If you would like to talk about it, then we may, by all means. I'm a private person by nature, however. This is why I did not seek you out, to speak on it. Of course, I want to talk about it. Are you okay? A curious question. Am I alright? The one who survived? Who has now shed his old life entirely? Who no longer needs to worry about assassins on his heels? Yes, I am more than alright. I am free. Allow me to thank you again for interceding on Ishida's behalf. Gaichu was very low, holding it for an almost uncomfortable amount of time. I had blinded myself to the possibility of ending his life without attempting to avenge my suffering upon him. I could not let him live, but I could forgive him for his blindness and arrogance. The ability to forgive is one of the hallmarks of humanity, and without it, I fear I would have embraced my inhuman nature a little too much. You guided me away from the darkness, and that is a debt I cannot easily repay. Why couldn't you have them live? Men like Ishida are the reason that Japan refuses to accept that the awakening was a natural affair and ships metahumans to Yomi Island. I was taught that people like Duncan Gobbett and Isabel are subhuman. I have been what they can accomplish, and I'm impressed. But to condemn him to a tormented existence as a crippled mindless beast? How would I have been any better than he if I had done so? Your influence guided me away from that, and becoming the monster he suspected I was. What do you think of that last mission? Cocking his head, Gaichu laughed. That is what we are already talking about, is it not? Is there anything else I can do for you? Has killing your old unit changed your outlook on life? Yes, I think it has. I had thought that embracing my nature as a goal, would be enough to allow me to survive, become the thing you have been cursed with, so to speak, but I do not think that it is true anymore. Instinct has to be tempered with forethought and logic, or the hunger and rage could overwhelm me. I must be careful not to let emotion rule over my self-control. But this shows the synergy of how a strong soul can survive with this disease. If they take care and are mindful, perhaps I can show others that we are not all mindless beasts. Regardless, Ishida's sword is now mine. It is a newer blade than my own, and appears to be made with some manner of enhanced die-coat process along the tungsten carbide edge. He lifts the katana, running one claw down the back of the blade. I have noticed a marked improvement in my speed when using it, particularly when I follow up the moves. Should an enemy fall to the sword, I will be able to reposition much more rapidly. Do you regret having to kill your unit? Gaichu cocks his head as he ponders this. After a long moment, he shakes his head. No, I do not believe I do. We were locked in a dance that could only end with my death or theirs. We choose that path consciously or not, and I am unwilling to die so that they could live. I value my life, even changed as it is. Their insistence on following the strictures of their duty ensured this end just as surely as my refusal to die did. I regret only that circumstance and training lead us to this point. They were still family to me, even at the end. But if your family turned on you and tried to kill you, you would still defend yourself. What will you do now? Gaichu recoils, expression one of rank incredulity. Surely you are joking with me. I will stay here and aid you in your endeavors. I have no other life to turn to, nor anyone to call friend. As you have aided me, so too will I aid you. This life in the shadows is the most free and open I have ever felt. I have no desire to go or do anything else. Perhaps later I will, but not anytime soon. Have a good night, Gaichu. And the same to you, my friend. Okay, let's tell you has some more text. Welcome back. What can I do for you, Memo? Have a good night, Gaichu. And the same to you, my friend. Okay, his dialogue is exhausted, and I completely forgot to take up the payment for the mission, so I'll do that I do that soon. Rector's shop is alive with motion, well-mounted tools, hammer and spark, each according to its own rhythm. The cacophony reverberates in the metal confines of the converted engine room, attacking your ears as the light of acetylene torches stabs your eyes. My friend, you have come back. Rector turns towards you, his boots are off and you can see the metallic gleam of his feet. Freed from the confines of his boots, the appendages have unfolded. Clawed gripping toes play out in all directions, at least 8 to a foot. They look alien and predatory, like the talons of some great carnivorous bird. I wasn't convinced that you'd want to continue our little chats after the last time. From under his desk, a glint of light catches your eye, Koschei. I am glad that I was wrong. Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss our talks for the world. I'm pleased to hear you say so. I rather enjoy them myself. He turns the sound of metal on metal filling your ears. So, what shall we talk about? Rector, what's up with your feet? The replacement that I was fitted with all those many years ago. The many talon-like toes that splayed out from his feet claw at the ground, scraping against the metal flooring. They have been modified somewhat between then and now, as you can see, improved. What animal did you base your redesign on? The claws were inspired by the harpy eagle, quite a majestic creature, a hunter of primates, you know. He smiled. The quantity was driven by artistic license, impractical perhaps, but they please me all the same. I see that the shop is up and running again. What are you working on now? More options for Koschei as always. He is still far from perfect, but every iteration inches him closer. Any thoughts about last run? I must commend our ghoulish friend for his planning in organizing his run. We solved a problem for him, diverted attention away from ourselves and got paid in the process. Not bad at all. What's more, this actively gave me the opportunity to test Koschei's combat effectiveness against one of the premier paramilitary organizations in the 6th world today. The Red Samurai are no slouches when it comes to warfare, as you well know. Such a proud moment watching my life creation to all this own against them. I must confess, when the last of our enemies fell, my heart felt it fit to burst. A great victory, my friend. A great victory all around. Now, what else would you have of me? I have a question for you about something that you mentioned last time. The corner of his mouth lifts into a wry smile. Yes, I imagine you do. Go on then, ask away. If what you believe is true, if people with your condition will inherit the earth, how long do you think that can last? Indefinitely? What makes you ask? Psychopaths are born predators. Ever heard of a natural ecosystem that's made up of nothing but predators? You're suggesting that we'll burn ourselves out, annihilate ourselves. I will concede that this is possible, but I think it unlikely. This is the sixth world after all. Even if metahumanity is supplanted by posthumanity, there will be other forces at work in the world. We will not be alone. You're talking about the supernatural, dragon spirits, that kind of thing. Yes, any form of intelligence that cannot or will not make the leap that we will make. Dragons and spirits world. Dragons and spirit would qualify, so would any metahuman holdovers that cling to their natural bodies. Artificial intelligences could also prove problematic. And your solutions for dealing with these problematic species would be? That remains to be seen. Ideally, we would take the cleanest, simplest approach to dealing with them. What that approach might be would depend as much on them as it would on us. The corner of his mouth tilts upward. The smile contains no warmth. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing how it all plays out, aren't you? So, in your ideal future, people without empathy, morality or humanity will replace the rest of us. That sounds about right? Yes, people like me. Tell me, my friend, how does that make you feel? What is your gut reaction to the vision that I have shared with you? It terrifies me. He frowns knowingly. Of course it does. You do not share our selective advantage. You see what is to come, and it repels you. For a man in your position, this is only natural. Revulsion is the expected response. I promise you, my friend, if you move past your atavistic reaction, you will see how right this is. The sixth world is no place for compassion. It is a predatory world, a world of monsters. Some of those came with the awakening, and others are of our own design, but they are there, and if we are to survive, we need to shed those weaknesses that prevent us from competing with them. I speak with the clarity of a man who is not a man, in mind or in body. The things that others refuse to see are as plain to me as the light of day. I tell you, my friend, life is better this way. One day you will see for yourself, and you will thank me for what I have shared with you. You said that you were diagnosed as a psychopath when you were 8. What led to the diagnosis? My mother had me tested. She'd always kept a watchful eye on me, obsessively so, truth to be told. It was a rather poor way to experience childhood. Why was she watching you? What did you do? Very little. She blew my childhood behaviors out of proportion, I am afraid. The woman had always been motivated by fear. He sighs. She had her reason, I suppose. What reasons are you talking about? Malignant narcissism runs in my family. None of the men of my line have understood the concepts of conscience, of empathy. and they wouldn't have had much use for them if they had. My grandfather was an abusive drunk who killed his own brother with a gasoline-powered ice auger. My father was a terror to his employees and assistants, a shark and business suit. I suppose that my mother expected me to follow in their footsteps. And haven't you? Yes, I suppose that I have, but it wasn't my choice. Had I been left in peace, had my supposed friends not stolen what was dearest to me, I might never have taken to the shadows. My path was set by others, not by myself. I'll give you that, and besides, it's not like I'm in a place to judge. Well said, my friend, well said. Things happened as they did, and I have no regrets. We're both the better for it, are we not? Surely, it is advantageous to have me on the team. Yes, Rucker, it's good for us that you're here. The corner of his mouth tilts upward. Well then, there you have it. So, after you were diagnosed, what happened? He shrugs. I learned what was expected of me. The doctor was very helpful in that regard. He offered false hope and placebos and false promises that could cure me and my family met his price. If my family met his price. And to me, he offered an escape. All that I had to do was play along and my problems would be solved. It wasn't difficult to pretend that I had been cured. Once I understood the outward signs that my mother was looking for, I was able to aid them well enough. In time, my mother came around. So you lied then. You pretended to be cured when you weren't. I put on a mask, both for my own benefit and the benefit of my family. I knew that I knew what would happen if I didn't. I had been caught, and my mother's scrutiny would only increase if I didn't convince her that I was better. My grandfather lived out of his final days in Black Dolphin prison. Do you know the place? No. Is it anything like a Supermax prison and UCAS? In terms of condition, it's far worse. Black Dolphin is one of the most appealing detainment facilities in Russia, and that is saying quite a lot. I was determined not to wind up trapped in such a place. I am not an animal to be caged. Rakt bends down and runs his fingers over chassis. The drone stands motionless, the lenses of its many optical sensors focused on you. In any case, there you have it. I'm glossing over many of the details, of course, but I'd rather not discuss my childhood any further. Instead, let us think to the future and to the promise that it holds. So, where do we go from here? Forward, my friend. Always forward. Silently, Koschei studies you, its articulated pedipalps weaving hypnotically. You will join me, won't you? The future beckons the both of us equally. Follow me, and I will guide you into a better tomorrow. I can think of nothing that would please me more. We'll agree to disagree about your perfect future. For the present, though, you have my support. Very good, my friend. If nothing else, I will have ample time to convince you. But in the immediate future, there is the small matter of the walled city to connect with. I will, of course, continue to help you as best I can. I need allies as badly as you do, and it is my best interest to keep them alive. Good. Let's keep it that way. You have nothing to fear, my friend. I am your friend. You can trust me. His smile glints wide. And now, if you excuse me... I know the drill. I'll show myself out. You see? You know me so well. It's as if we share a single mind. He not smiling. Goodbye. Okay, that was pretty interesting. So let's claim that payment before I forget it again. Open the jobs directory. Jobs main. Sell the experimental Renraku drone. You sent a quick email to Kindly Cheng informing her of the drone you recorded from Renraku. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. 1,500 new yens. Nice. From Kindly Cheng to Mamu. Brave of you to do side work without telling me, or stupid. Take your pick. Luckily, Auntie Cheng knows plenty of buyers for your new toy. I'll send the finder's fee over to you right away. Kindly Cheng. Go back. And walk away. So, let's speak to Duncan. So far that was, I think, the best payment for the job. Welcome back. What do you think about that last run? Wasn't on the last run of age. I assume it came out okay, since you're here to ask about it. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? Let's talk later. Anytime. So that was pretty quick. And Gobet is the next one. Hey again, did you need something? Any thoughts about that last run? I guess all that history with this old unit was really eating at nibbles, huh? Goblet folds her arms, glancing off into the distance. I wasn't too happy with him being here when you first invited him to join the team, you know, but I was wrong. He's a solid asset, maybe not the most talkative, but a good guy to have in your corner. I'm glad he killed Ishida and didn't turn him into a girl. That would have been a colder fate than anybody deserves. Gobet shudders. With Ishida dead, he's finally free. Maybe now he'll learn to lighten up a little. Or at least correct a smile now and again. So, what else did you want to chat about? So, how are you adjusting to the gift that red, or the shiny object, or whatever has given you? Her expression brightens. It's good, I mean, probably not like morally good, but I think that I can use it. What is it? What does it do? Well, it's kind of like a grenade. When I throw it, it goes boom. Not out here in the real world, but in the astral plane. It's pretty impressive. As for what it actually does, it scares the shit out of anyone who gets caught in the blast. Makes them act like idiots. They run around with their hands in the air or forget about who's shooting at them and stand around with their fingers at their ears. Handy, huh? Yeah, it sounds great. I'm just a little iffy about how you got this and why. Don't be. It came from Red. I'm pretty sure of that. The dancing rodents in my visions were a pretty good indicator. She lets the stone roll in the palm of her hand, smiling. Its polished exterior glitters as it moves. So, here's the thing. When I use the thing, what I think I'm doing is opening a bunch of temporary cracks in the astral plane. Just little ones. Only wide enough for sounds to pass through. People in the blast radius can hear things on the other side. So, let's say that I throw this sucker at someone and it goes off. Boom. All of a sudden, that poor slob can hear the things that got into Malvina shrieking in his brain. Sound unpleasant? Yeah, it's a bad time for them. All of those voices at once, yelling and babbling and cursing, doing their Rat King thing. It would drive you nuts, right? That's basically what it does. Drives people mad, makes them work against their own sinful interest. It's like temporary insanity in pebble form. If you say so, I'd be wary of using anything that might be connected to the shiny object. She shakes her head. Again, Rat gave it to me. I think that I will be okay. No, here's the best part. After I use one of these and go to bed, I find another one in my hand at the next morning. I tried it a couple of times now, and it keeps happening. Just explode, nap, visions of dancing rats, and ta-da! New magic pebble. Using this feels right in a way that shiny object never did. I think that it's Rat's rewards to me for taking Malvina down or something. I don't know exactly. I've never heard of this happening to anyone before. Anyway, it should help us moving forward. And considering that we're headed up against next, I think that we can use all that help we can get. Alright, Gubet, we finally gotten back on track, so got another lesson for me. No, Memo, no more lessons. You don't need them. You're as much a runner as I am now. There might be even a thing or two that I can learn from you. All of that can wait, though. We've got this whole situation with the World City, and your foster rat, and gun show, and all that to take care of. It's kind of mouthful, lots of letters involved, tons of intrigue. Honestly, I'm enthralled by the whole thing. Can't wait to see how it turns out. Me either, Gubet. Guess we'll just see how this plays out together. She nods sagely. You're damn right we will. Oh, and Memo. Yeah? The pot on the hot plate, it's always full. I keep soup going on that thing between... my reading today. The pot on the hot plate, it's always full. I keep a soup going on that thing 24/7. If you ever want any, you're welcome. Just come on in, I'd love the company. I'm gonna make you regret that offer. I can eat a lot of soup. Yeah? Can't wait to see you prove it. She does her best to stifle a yawn. Maybe later though. It's getting late and I could use some shut-eye. You're choosing sleep over soup? Who are you? And what did you do with Gobet? Ha ha! Smiling slyly, she waves you off with the back of her hand. Scurry along now. Your former mentor needs her rest. Okay, so the last member of the club, Isabel. You enter the Isabel's cabin and find her jacked into the octopus. Her body slouches motionless, tethered to the machine. The computer's large display flickers to life again, just as it did last time. Isabel's avatar fills the screen. This isn't helping. The avatar frowns down on you, a look of supreme disillusionment on its face. I'm ducking, I'm in my safe space, and it doesn't help. The memories are just as painful here as they are in the real world. Can you just try not to think about it? Gee, Memo, I hadn't thought of that. Here, I've been trying really hard to wallow in misery and then wondering why I've been so sad. Of course, I can't just not think about it. If I could do that, then do you think that I would have? Okay, fine point. Point taken. So, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know, okay? I just don't. You know what? Hang on. The outer wings of the screen and the terminal powers down. Isabel's body shudders, a familiar tremor, her consciousness is flooding back out of the matrix and into her meat. Her eyes flutter and she takes a sharp breath, slowly, shakily. She rises from her perch on the floor. You're here with more questions, right? She coughs into the crook of her arm, wipes her nose with her sleeve. I'm sure that you are. Why else would you be bothering me? So spit them out and I'll go digging around, and that's a spit that I call memory. Who knows? Maybe we find a clue. I know that you're hurting, Isabel. If anything else, go ahead. She takes a deep breath, makes a visible effort to calm herself. No, that wasn't like me. This isn't the person that I want to be. And we'll be okay. I can handle this. Just ask me your questions, okay? Let's get this ball rolling. Any thoughts about that last run? I wasn't there, remember? So for me it was pretty much like any other night. I spent the evening tooling around on the octopus. Anything else you wanted to know? I have a question about the walled city. She clenches her jaw. Nuts. Go on. Gubat said that you didn't want her to guide your parents out of the walled city. Then you wanted them left behind. She nods miserably. Yes, but not for anything that they've done. My parents were good people. They fled Somalia to try and find a better life for their children, and it wasn't their fault that they wound up in the walled city. I wanted them left behind for me. For you? What do you mean by that? Isn't it obvious? She taps her temple. Please. I knew what I was going to have done. I'd planned it well in advance. After I got out, I was going to find someone who could make my childhood go away. How would that have stuck if my parents were around? If I had a living reminder right there next to me, it wouldn't have. So they had to stay. That's called Isabel. It's survival. Besides, I was sure that they would be fine. They were my parents' grown-ups. They'd be alright. She heaves a sigh. Before you ask, I checked. They're gone now. I can't go riding on to their rescue. I made a decision when I was a kid. It felt like the right one at the time. And now I have to live with it. Such is life. It wasn't always, until very recently. I couldn't remember any of this. Now, let's change the subject, okay? Anything else would be fine. Gubat told me about your secret escape from the walled city, just like you said she would. Yeah, I'm not surprised. What are you telling me about it? Because the answer she gave me raised more questions. And you want me to answer them for you? She sighs. Alright, Memo, maybe I can satisfy your curiosity. The walled city was a hellhole, you already know that, but for all of its failings, it was a good teacher. It taught me to hide, to stay small and unnoticed, and insulated to survive. It taught me that the fish on the perimeter of the school gets eaten, that sticking your neck out is a fool's errand, but that even fools can have their uses. It also taught me to recognize a stronger person when I met one, and how to use that strength for my own benefit. So when I met Gobet, I knew that she had something I didn't. Her magic, you mean? She nods. Her connection to Red and her willingness to risk her own neck. We were different people then, still are now, but the differences were even more pronounced when we were kids. I find it hard to believe you two are nothing alike. We're both Shadowrunners, that's something. When you look at me now, you're seeing an Isabel who's had years outside of the walled city to fix herself, to adjust. I didn't have a lot of social skill when I was a kid, living in a survival mode, being in a fight or flight all the time. It had an impact. I think that's why GOG was fascinated with me, how serious I was. She was nothing like that. GOG was playful and carefree. She could hold her own in a scrape, but she mostly saw life as a game. And as far for me, well, I knew that it wasn't, but I saw an advantage in cultivating a friendship with GOG, so I tried my hardest to make that happen. I couldn't have been more than 9 or 10 at the time, but I saw her from what she could be. An ally? No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen until later. What I saw her then was a road of the walled city, a path to freedom disguised as a little girl with the dreadlocks, and as it turned out, I was right. She pauses, her eyes flit to the ground, and she tightens her hand into fists. Ever since I unlocked these damned memories, I can't go 10 minutes without thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't followed GOG out of that place. It's like a vicious cycle, running over and over in my head. I hate it, but it won't stop. I feel guilty. You needed help and you took it. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Gives me another reason to feel grateful to her, I guess. That's something. I've always known that I owe GOG, but now I remember how much and why. Anyway, that's my side of the story. I hope that it satisfied your curiosity. Now, let's move on. Why did you have your memories locked away? Why do you think? They were awful, traumatic. I'm not talking about personal trauma here. I was fortunate enough to avoid the fates of many of my peers. I didn't get pressed into service in a brothel. The organ ledgers didn't get me. I only had to watch one of my siblings die. She frowns. So yeah, it could have been worse, but that doesn't make any early life in the walled city any easy to bear. Hang on, you watched one of your siblings die? She nods. Yes, my older brother, Cabdel, heroin overdose. He was 19, and almost the same age that I am now. I'm sorry that you had to watch that. Me too. Wanna hear something awful? I almost annoyed him. He got out easy compared to a lot of people who die in the walled city. There was no violence. He wasn't taken by organ ledgers or gunned down by the triads. He just put a spike in his arm, depressed the plunger, and stopped breathing. Quick and easy. I'm sorry. Don't be. His death was a lesson, and I did my best to learn from it. Everything that happened in my childhood was that way, a lesson in disguise. Lessons about impermanence and the random cruelty of life. Lessons about what a huge mistake it is to get attached and how to prioritize your own survival, no matter what. Those lessons were important, they kept you alive, but it's just as important to know when to leave them behind. She nods. Yeah, I know, but having a hard time with that right now. We all carry the same scars, you and me, and Gansho and Gobet. Some run bigger and deeper than others, but we all got them. Her voice goes small. I don't want mine anymore. Abruptly, she turns away. That's enough of that. Ask me something else, Memo. I don't want to talk about this anymore. There was a man here in Heoi who was ranting about the Yama Kings. His hair had gone white with fear, and I watched him die. She nods miserably. Yes, it happened when I was a kid too. Not often, but occasionally. People would have bad dreams and then become obsessed with them, consumed by their own dread. When I was a kid, we viewed it as a kind of local malady, dream madness. It mostly affected people with other problems, dementia, paranoia, phobias, that kind of thing. So people would just shrivel up and die because of the dreams? Basically. But like I said, it didn't happen often. I remember one old woman, Auntie Wai Kyung. She had skin like parchment paper, and she baked egg tarts for the neighborhood kids. We liked her, she was good. One day, Auntie Wai Kyung didn't come out of her apartment. She was always up and about by 6 or 7 in the morning. It was part of her routine. For her to sleep past noon was unthinkable. Naturally, the grown-ups assumed that she'd passed in the night. She was old and frail, and it was bound to happen sooner or later. So a neighbor, Mr. Ejide, went in to check on her and collect the body. What did he find? She wasn't dead. What he found was much worse than that. She pauses, looks you in the eye. Oral surgery was involved. You don't want to hear the rest. Yes, I do. You recovered these memories for us. The least that I can do is listen to them. Alright, your call. Auntie Wai Kyung had been busy that morning. She'd put her knife skills to work on her own tongue, cut it out, plated it, and ripped out most of her teeth for garnish. She'd beaten down on a coal from the fireplace to keep you from bleeding out. And you think that the dream made her do this? Yes, she did what she did to protect herself from Qian. Yeah. How so? The old stories all say that Qian would claim you as a slave by tying your tongue into a knot. No tongue, no slavery. The old lady didn't want to take any chances. Unfortunately for Mr. Ejide, she didn't want him to take chances either. She was a sweet old thing, always looking out for her neighbors. Thanks to the dreams, she knew what was at stake. She wanted to help. The other adults didn't make it into Auntie Wai Kyung's apartment in time to save Mr. Ejide's show. It was hanging by a thread by the time they got there. She'd always had a steady hand with a cleaver. That's awful. She shrugs. I've seen worse. What happened to Mr. Ejide? Did he live? Yes, but I think he wished that he hadn't. Replacing a jaw is expensive, and Mr. Ejide had no money. He had to settle with a life of miserable silence, hiding the wound in his face and slurping broth through a tube. As for Auntie Wei Kyung, she suffered an aneurysm, dropped dead as she grows up. We're trying to get her to what passed as a clinic in the Mansion District, but she died with a smile on her face. She knew that her soul was safe. That's all for now. Can we talk about something else? Please, to be honest, almost anything else would be preferable. I'm good to go, Isabel. She nods glumly. Be well. Okay, so that was an interesting story we got from her. And I think it's time to visit the parlor of 5 elements, or how it's called. 5 phases, okay. Keep forgetting the name of that shop. Hi there, still don't have any new information on the Yamakings on the dreams. I think we're going to have to wait and see how these things shake out. Thanks, Crafty. See you around. Let's talk to Jean again. Jean from who's back? Why don't you egg a car or something and leave us alone? I, for one, enjoy Mamu's visits. A hint of smile touches Lau's lips as Jean grumbles to himself. How can we help you? Sorry to interrupt, I was just wondering if you're still having the dreams. This again. Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we're all still having the dreams. Lau's voice is calm, but troubled. However, they've gotten a hell lot of worse. Jin shifts uncomfortably. Look, let's not go into detail. Okay. Nothing here. Let's talk to Matthew. Reliable Matthew stands quietly, cheap suit wet with the rain, tapping his foot absently to the smooth just pervading the lot. A halo of cigarillo smoke surrounds him. Hey, beautiful, good to see you. Let's set up you. Shall we? Goodbye, Matthew. Your drones are too expensive and I can't use them anyway, so... Let's go a little bit around. I think the next quest will be Captain Jomo? No, I will go to the movie set. Because this one guy gets a little bit annoying. Dr. Shenyang, what are you slow? I got nothing else for you until you get the deer on Ma. Dr. Shenyang makes a chewing gesture with his hands. You got a job now, go do it. Let's talk to Auntie. No time for runners now, I have other business to attend to. Okay, that's fast. Let's go to the adept guy. Spider-Shan. Shannon nods. Greetings as you approach. Good to see you, Mamu. What can I get you today? See you later. Okay, looks like I exhausted all his dialogues as well. So... let's go to the doctor and then again to the Club 88. Nothing new here. Ambrose anxiously sips his whiskey. Big storm coming in, Memo. I'm gonna bed down soon. You need something? Goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Memo. Talk to you later. Okay, looks like Ambrose is silent for the first time. And I forget my lovely Decker shopper. Law raises his VR goggles as you approach. His eyes are deep brown, surrounded by premature wrinkles. He squints the light, blinking. He seems at a loss for words. Hey, Mamu. His voice is subdued. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put anyone in danger. lesson learned, don't worry about it. He pulls his VR goggles back down. I guess Shadowrun's running darker business than I thought. It is what it is, you just have to play by certain rules. Yeah, well, whatever the rules are, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not like you, Memo. I'm not some carnivore. I don't want to be one. Law looks pensively around the docks. I want to get out of here, Memo. I want to get on something bigger. Rain drizzles, torn tarpaulins flap weakly, docks creak. The odors of garlic, sizzling fish, ginger onions, raw sewage and industrial effluent mingle in the heat. This place is kind of a shithole, isn't it? Like you said, it's a stepping stone. Yeah, it is. Dealing test is how I'm going to get out. I guess that make my strategy clear. Law breaks into a rascally grin. Welcome to the Lost Technology Palace, Memu. What useless junk I can sell you? What's your standing in Whampoa now? Whampoa? Screw those clowns. I'm an independent contractor now. Real, clear arrangement. I deal goods for them. They want something, they pay for it. And Lost Technology Palace is an independent territory. Law kicks a bin of spare parts, forcefully emphasizing his point. I'm starting my own tribe, the tribe of Boom. You got a tax problem? We will solve it. Boom. You got garbage in your head? We tell you how it is. Boom. He snorts with bizarre satisfaction. Vampires are a bunch of backstabbing losers. You need anything Boom right now? I'm here for the tech. Show me what you got. Okay, I still don't have enough. I still don't have enough money for Fairlight Excalibur. Gee, what a today day is. First, my eyes are very bad at reading, and then my tongue is completely out of order to read correctly and speak correctly. Woohoo. Anyway, too expensive cyberdecks for me at the moment. Same with the outfits and consumables and programs. Let's see if there are some interesting for the price. Killjoy. And erosion. Should be fine for now. Oh, 6,000. Oh, no, just let's take erosion. It's too much money. Ah. Oh, it requires spirit summoning, so woohoo, I'm completely missed that one. So let's use this again. Okay, let's confirm and let's see if we can sell. no chance to sell the spell. Looks like, yeah, here's Wild Aim for 300. Oh, looks like there are 3 better than mine. Wow. I wish I could at least afford this one. Well, I don't think I need any more of these. Well, we'll see about it. That's okay for now. See you later. See you later, Memo. Watch out for yourself, Carnivore. Long lives the boom. And while I still have some money, I completely forgot that I could upgrade my weapons. And there is one thing I completely forgot, and it's to upgrade my karma. And it will be this and this. So, bigger chance to hit. Okay. Let's go visit the dock again. And see the implants. Sure thing, tune-up or spare parts. Cyberware. Okay, cyber weapon. Unfortunate. I'm too much into melee, so this should be useless. And what to use? I think this one is a little bit better choice. Let's talk this cyber spur. Oh, so expensive. Cyberware causes essence loss. This affects the magic rating of your character, as magic is equal to essence rounded down. Magic is very important for spellcasters. The base number of spell slots available to the caster is equal to half of their magic rounded down. Therefore, losing essence can cause spell slots to be permanently lost. In addition, each point of magic lost increases all spell cooldowns by +1. Casting a spell again while it is cooling causes the rain damage to the caster. You cannot have less than 1 essence. come back to the garage soon. Goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Memo. Talk to you later. So, did I spend all that money? Yes. And how much do we have? 350. Ouch, that was really costly. Well, I should have probably purchased something better for the legs, but whatever. And only how many quests we do? 3 before going to the Dreamland. So I don't believe that I will get enough money to get some very good upgrade. Maybe it wasn't worth it, but whatever. Frederick watches the street with a stolid, sullen diligence. He shoots you a glance, clearly preoccupied. I've got a lot on my mind. Okay, so he is still thinking about what we were talking about last time. Callum seems both unusually sober and unusually thoughtful. I'm thinking about what you said, thinking about it hard. You need anything to get your blood up? I suppose not. So he's still thinking about stuff again. The old troll patriarch has a look of quiet resolve in his eyes. Hello, Momo. I will abide. I will. Okay, so I think I sold the troll family stuff as well. Would you care to browse the weapons I have today? Maybe another time. Okay. So it really looks like I have talked out most of the guys out there. Dialogue. So let's go directly to the MTR station for the next quest. And which will be travel to the Repulse Bay Hotel to dig up information on Neville Ma. And as always, Raktor and let's take Isabel for now, with her funny grenade launcher, and Duncan. So let's confirm and let's see. You are about to travel to Repulse Bay Hotel. Continue. Confirm. And that was another episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition Blind Playthrough by Old Man Memo. So, today we spent a lot less time in here as we are used to. And we are going to the movie set. We'll see how this turns out, but that's for another time. Anyway, if you enjoyed the game as much as I did, feel free to follow me on Twitch and subscribe to my YouTube channel. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon.